All right. So if you could be known for only one thing, Jay, what would that be?
If I could be known for only one thing, authenticity. And what do I mean by authenticity? What you see is what you get. In other words, what you're hearing, you can count on. A close cousin to authenticity is integrity, reputation. So, a reputation of being authentic. In other words, when I say something to someone, I would want to have the reputation to be known for when Jay says it, you can count on it. You can take it to the bank. He's telling you the truth and he's not making something up, just to make you feel good, but you can rely on Jay Conner's word.
All right. I love that. What is the greatest lesson in leadership that you've learned as an entrepreneur?
Hmm. Biggest lesson in leadership. Well, if you're a leader, that means you got followers. So that begs the question, what should the relationships be between you as the leader and your followers or your team members, as I call all of my folks, my team members. And so one of the most important lessons I learned the hard way, and unfortunately, George, the most valuable lessons I have learned, I did learn the hard way because I had to screw it up first in order to fix it. And what I've learned is, as a leader, it's so important to be accessible. Accessible. So this ties into communicating with your team. So years ago, I used to repeatedly hear it from my team members. Well, Jay's so busy, I can't get to him. Or Jay doesn't have any time for me to tell him. So as a leader, not only do you want to be accessible, but it's your responsibility as the leader of the team to put into place a practice, a platform, a scheduled time every week that you and your team can get together on Zoom, on the phone, in person, and get their feedback. So make it easy. There it is. Make it easy for your team members to, first of all, ask you for what they need. As you as a leader, it's your job to give your team members the tools they need and the information they need to get their job done. And that can't happen unless there's free flowing communication. So make the platform available and make it easy for them. And here's another part that's also just as important. Create a culture to where your team members can tell you as the leader exactly what they're thinking and not what you want to hear.
What personal characteristic has been most pivotal to your success?
Now that one's easy. Resiliency. And what do I mean by resiliency? As a leader, as an owner, as an entrepreneur, you're going to have a lot of problems and you're going to have a lot of challenges. And, back to my story that I shared a little while ago about when I was talking to my banker, on my phone with handset here. When I got cut off from the bank, well, I had a choice. I could have just sat back and quit. Well, my funding's gone. No way to do the deals. So resiliency, stick-to-itiveness, commitment. Because look, there's always another way. Even though I said I hate people going around and say, well, every problem's an opportunity. Really, at the end of the day, it is. So don't give up. And here's the key to being resilient. Ask yourself, who do you know that can help you with your problem?
I love that. And, just to inject a little further excitement in this interview, very exciting interview so far. I've got some random questions here. So why don't you just tell me when to stop cutting the deck?
When to stop? How about right now? This reminds me of
All
a
right.
magic. This reminds me of a magic trick.
Well, the only magic here is that we're going to ask you a delightfully random question. Which fabulously impractical car would you like to own?
The Batmobile.
Ah, I love it. I'm glad you just didn't say Lamborghini Gallardo. All right, can you
No.
name a book that's helped to forge you as a leader or as an entrepreneur and why?
I'm sorry. You're laughing too much and I'm laughing too much. What was the question?
That was good. Well, that's going to go on the greatest hits next edition. Name a book that's helped to forge you as a leader or as an entrepreneur and why.
Oh, wow. The name of the book is University of Success,
Hmm.
and it's by Og Mandino, Mandino, University of Success. So that book came out long about 1984, and it's been, I think there's like a golden anniversary to that book by now. But anyway, the reason that book was so impactful to me is, first of all, I was in a very, very dark place and I was looking for, like, a new way to look at this life of mine and start over. And so I started reading the book. I love the book, University of Success, because Og Mandino, the author, he had all these brilliant minds contribute. And it's all about personal development. It's all about mindset, regardless of what you're doing. And each chapter is a short chapter with lessons learned. And that's my favorite book. I mean, in addition to the Bible, University of Success, foundational book to my personal development.
All right, now I promised that I was going to ask you a question about hurdles and speed bumps too. So here it is. So what's the biggest hurdle you have overcome in your business in the last year, and what did it teach you?
The biggest hurdle. So this needs to be a hurdle within the past year.
Oh, it doesn't have to be. We can go back a little more if you want.
Okay, because if I can go back a little further, what I'm thinking of is a very, very important lesson. So if anyone is looking at or has and is going to, again, flip houses. So I know, George, you talk primarily about multifamily, but if I can just share my experience in single family houses, if you're looking to flip a property, the most important lesson I learned was, even if you're looking to flip a property, always calculate, will that property cash flow if you are forced into renting it out? So you always want to analyze it, you being the thinker brain there, George. You always want to analyze it. How much can I bring in per month on rent versus my underlying debt? Will it cash flow in case I get stuck with the property and I cannot flip it? That's a big mistake I made long ago when I bought a condominium. I was looking to flip it. And let me tell you something, the market turned. I was stuck with it, and it was a bloodbath for many years until the market did turn back. So always look at those deals, analyzing both sides of it both ways.
I love that. That's sort of agility. That's huge. I see that in successful people all the time. And and thank you for sharing that. Can you give us a quote to help forge our listeners as leaders and entrepreneurs?
Well, I'll give you my quote that I'm known for, and that is, successes are scheduled. Now, what do I mean by successes are scheduled? Things just don't happen, right? So I don't very much believe in a to-do list. So this is my everyday practice as to how I go about doing business. If it's important enough that I want it done, put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar. So successes are scheduled. Just don't depend on the to-do list. If you really want something done, schedule it on your calendar to get done and keep the commitment to yourself.
All right. Now we're at that time in the interview where I have to ask you email, website, carrier pigeon, smoke signal. What's the best way for our listeners to reach out to you?
The best way is just order my book and I'll autograph it and ship it to you. jayconner.com/book, JAYCONNER.com/book, and we'll be connected.
All right. I want to thank you, Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority. Thank you for taking your time to share your knowledge and experience with our audience.
George, thank you so much for having me on. You are a fantastic interviewer, man. Congratulations.
Right,
And
right back at you. Amazing guest. Thank you so much.
You got it, George. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.